Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Before the Snap podcast. We are back. If you haven't already, check out our interview with Tennessee Titans cornerback Alteron Werner. Look in the previous videos. It is up now. It is live. Once again, thank you to Alteron Werner for joining us. But now, we want to go to the draft. We have all of our mock drafts here. We're going to discuss all of our mock drafts. We have Chase Oliver, 68, and Lou Testamark here. What's going on, guys?
Going great, James. Can't wait to discuss draft next week, and it's going to be a good one, hopefully.
I think it will. What's up, everybody? It's going to be a wonderful draft. A lot of movement probably is going to occur. I cannot wait.
Without further ado, let's start with the first pick. With the first pick in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select. Who do you say, Lou?
I think it's Luke Joeckel, tackle out of Texas A&M. Look, the Chiefs want out of this pick so badly. The problem is no one wants this pick from the Chiefs. They cannot get anyone to take it off their hands. And so they're stuck. And you got the pick of the litter at number one. Luke Joeckel, probably the best tackle in this draft. It's arguable that it could be Eric Fisher, some like Lane Johnson. At the end of the day, I think the Chiefs take Luke Joeckel, tackle out of Texas A&M, first overall.
I agree. I have Luke Joeckel going number one to the Chiefs. They don't have anyone else they want to take. Not interested in Geno Smith. Deion Jordan could somehow surprise us, but highly doubt that. So I got Luke Joeckel going number one overall.
I also have Luke Joeckel. I mean, you said it, Lou. They're trying to get out of this pick, but no one else wants this pick. I mean, it could be Eric Fisher here, but I just think it's going to be Luke Joeckel. I don't think they really want to go. I mean, it's not really a risk to take Eric Fisher. I think he's going to be great as well. But Luke Joeckel's number one, and they believe that as well. Number two, Jacksonville Jaguars select, I say, quarterback Geno Smith out of West Virginia. I think they want to go down a new road of quarterback. They're sort of interested in Ryan Nassib. They could wait until the second round to get him. But I think ultimately they want to get Geno Smith. They're down to two players for that number two pick. We don't know who either of those are. I don't think it's a offensive tackle, so I don't think it's going to be Luke Joeckel or Eric Fisher. Probably could be Deion Jordan, maybe Sharrod Floyd. But I think they really want Geno. They've set up private workouts with this guy, and I believe that he's their future.
They were impressed with Geno Smith. They said it themselves. Their GM, David Caldwell, was extremely impressed with Geno Smith. He even said that Geno exceeded his expectations. So that means a lot, but I'm going in a totally different direction. If you're the Jaguars, I say you give Blaine Gabbert one more year. If he cannot get it done, then you give him the quick hook. You can still draft the quarterback in this draft, just not at 2. I think the value really here is Deion Jordan, defensive end / outside linebacker out of Oregon. Look, the Jaguars had 20 sacks last year as a team. J.J. Watt had more sacks than his team by himself. You have to take a guy that can get some pressure on the quarterback. You drafted Tyson Alualu last year. He was your leading sack getter with 3.5. That cannot be the case. You take Deion Jordan here. You go for the home run. Deion Jordan, number 2 to the Jaguars out of Oregon, outside linebacker / defensive end.
I also have Deion Jordan going to the Jaguars. I understand Geno Smith a lot, and I think it is a good move on the Jaguars because it's a new regime, and new regimes are always impatient. But I really do feel that Deion Jordan's probably going to be going to the Jaguars. So I got Deion Jordan to the Jaguars.
Number 3, I have a trade, and I have the Miami Dolphins trading up to this pick with the Oakland Raiders, and I have the Miami Dolphins taking Eric Fisher. They want another tackle. Yes, they did draft a tackle last year in Jonathan Martin, but I think they want one more after the loss of Jake Long, and I believe that they think that Eric Fisher will be that tackle.
I got Sharif Floyd going to the Oakland Raiders. I don't think that the Raiders will trade down from this position, knowing that Sharif Floyd is going to be highly coveted even by the Detroit Lions. I really do feel that Sharif Floyd will stay. The Raiders will stay at number 3 to get Sharif Floyd. They need defensive tackle help. Richard Seymour, Tommy Kelly, both gone from this team. They need it. I got the Raiders taking Sharif Floyd.
I agree with you, Chase. I think the Raiders will select Sharif Floyd out of Florida, defensive tackle. Here's why. I don't think that the number 3 spot is a hot spot in this draft. If you're looking for a tackle and say Luke Jokel is gone and you want Eric Fisher, you can come up to 4 because I think the next spot for him to come off the board would be 5 at Detroit. So instead of – because, a lot of these teams like to go to the point system looking at these picks. And so there's a big difference in between coming up for 3 and coming up for 4. I don't think that 3 is a hot spot necessarily. I think the Raiders know that there's value here at 3 with Sharif Floyd. I think the Raiders stick with their guns and go with Sharif Floyd, defensive tackle out of Florida, at 3.
Number 4, Philadelphia Eagles. Lou, who do you see going here?
I think the Eagles are going to take Starlin Tulele, defensive tackle out of Utah. Look, the Eagles are making the switch from the 4-3 defense. We know the Eagles as a 4-3 team, aggressive defense, getting up the field. Last year they ran that wide 9 defense with defensive line coach Jim Washburn. Now they're switching to a 3-4 defense. Chip Kelly has come in. He's running a new system. When you switch from a 4-3 to a 3-4, you got to have the horses up front. Got to have the big bodies, the girth up front to man that defense. Hold up those blockers and allow those linebackers the free range to run around. Starla Tulele is a guy that will give you that kind of girth up front, and he's more athletic than people think. He can get in the backfield, knife in there, get to the ball carrier, get to the quarterback. Eagles take Starla Tulele at number 4, defensive tackle out of Utah.
For me, I have the Eagles taking Lane Johnson, offensive tackle from Central Michigan. The reason why is that the Eagles, their offensive tackle position was really, really hurt last year, devastated. They've lost a couple of offensive linemen in free agency, especially with Chip Kelly's type offense. He needs an offensive line. I like the pick of Starla Tulele. It's just that I feel the Eagles have a lot of depth on the D tackle side, so I don't feel like they really need Starla Tulele all that bad. But I do feel they need an offensive lineman more. But Starla Tulele or Geno Smith would be another guy I would put into this position.
Number 5, Detroit Lions. I have quarterback D. Milliner going here. They could take Lane Johnson here. However, I understand they re-signed Chris Houston. However, with Chris Houston last year, this secondary really wasn't that good. They did add Glover Quinn, but that cornerback position needs more depth there. Ron Bartell is not good enough, and I think D. Milliner is going to go here.
For me, I have the Detroit Lions actually taking a pet project, and Ziggy Ansah. Ezekiel Ansah is someone that a lot of teams are looking at. I feel that the Lions, they don't really have a pass rush anymore with Cliff Averill and Kyle Vanden Bosch gone. Ndamukong Suh needs more help, and I feel Ezekiel Ansah will help the Detroit Lions because front sevens, they do help cause turnovers for those secondaries. So maybe the Lions are thinking if we get a good enough pass rusher that can cause some damage, we can actually get some turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. So I think they're going to choose Ezekiel Ansah here.
Well, at 5, I think it's a no-brainer for the Lions. If one of those tackles is there, especially Eric Fisher, you got to take him. You lose your starting left tackle for over a decade in Jeff Backus to retirement. You lose your right tackle in free agency, Gosher Charles, to the Indianapolis Colts. So right now, all you have at tackle is your first-round pick from a season ago, Riley Reif. You need another tackle. You need a left tackle. I think Riley Reif is naturally a right tackle in this league. You need to get a tackle to fortify this position. Look, Matthew Stafford has to be protected. If he is not protected, this Lions team will not go anywhere. Your first priority is to protect your franchise QB. You get the tackle here, Eric Fisher, at 5 out of Central Michigan.
Number 6, Cleveland Browns. Well, not for me. I have a projected trade here. I have the San Diego Chargers trading with the Cleveland Browns to take Lane Johnson. I believe that they need a tackle, and hopefully they feel the same because Phillip Rivers cannot be protected in the same way he was last year. I mean, they also lost Luis Vazquez, who, yes, isn't a tackle, but that's another big loss of the offensive line. So I think they first need to fix that offensive line before they fix anything else.
I agree. I have San Diego trading with Cleveland here. Cleveland is just looking at a cornerback. They could care less if it's Dean Milner. They could care less if who Xavier Rhodes, anyone. They want a cornerback. They know, hey, you know what? There's probably one other team ahead of us that's probably looking at, our cornerbacks. San Diego is at number 11. We can get one of the two best cornerbacks in this draft, and we're not really hurting all too much. So let's give San Diego, we get an extra second-round pick out of it. Let's give San Diego this spot. They get Lane Johnson, and that works out for them.
I feel like, just like you guys do, the Cleveland Browns are on the trading block here. They're sitting there, 35, 45, 55, 45, sold to the Miami Dolphins. I think they trade up here. They have the assets necessary to make this deal go down. The Dolphins have 5 picks in the first 85 picks or 88 picks of this draft. They have 2 second-rounders, 2 third-rounders. I feel like they have what the Browns are looking for. The Browns want a second-round pick. Remember, they traded they used their second-round pick in a supplemental draft a season ago to get Josh Gordon, the receiver, out of Baylor. So they are looking for a second-round pick. I think the Dolphins can hand over one of those with no problem. They come up, they take Lane Johnson at 6. I'm hearing reports that the Dolphins aren't interested in Lane Johnson, but again, at this time of the year, you cannot listen to anyone. Everyone's a liar. Assume everyone is trying to deceive you. Miami Dolphins come up to 6, take Lane Johnson, tackle out of Oklahoma.
Number 7, Arizona Cardinals. I have them taking Chance Warmack. I mean, that offensive line is it's pretty bad. However, with Levi Brown coming back, I don't think that they really need an offensive tackle. And now, in my mock draft, I have 3 offensive tackles off the board, and I don't think you really want to take DJ Fluker here. But Chance Warmack can help solidify that interior of the offensive line. He is a mauler, and he'll open up holes for the now Rashard Mendenhall, who's now the running back there in Arizona. So I have Chance Warmack going here.
I agree. Chance Warmack is the best position that they can get out of this guy. They're looking for offensive linemen. I could also say Jonathan Cooper in this position just because I like his athleticism more than Chance Warmack. But if Arizona's using Carson Palmer as a quarterback and they want to use Rashard Mendenhall more and want to get a running game going, I like the addition of Chance Warmack. I think Warmack would be a very good fit for the Arizona Cardinals.
It's a clean sweep, fellas. I've got Warmack going here as well to the Cardinals. Look, I think, like you said, James, with Levi Brown coming back, going to that left tackle position, allows Bobby Massey to slide over to right tackle. The glaring need now is right guard and Pat McQuiston. You can't have him starting at right guard. If you're the Arizona Cardinals, you draft Chance Warmack, you stick him, you plug him in, you let him play, you move on. I think that's the best value at 7 after one of those after those tackles go off the board. I think the best value at 7 for the Cardinals is guard with Chance Warmack, or as Chase alluded to, Jonathan Cooper as well.
Number 8, Buffalo Bills. I'm going to surprise a little bit people here, but I've been doing some research on the Buffalo Bills, and I've been hearing a lot of Kenny Vaccaro. I have him going here at number 8. They lost George Wilson to free agency. Yes, they did franchise Jarius Byrd, but he could be gone after the next year if they cannot reach an agreement with him. And they want to help out those safeties, and they want to help out that secondary even more. Last year taking Stephon Gilmore. I think they're going to go Kenny Vaccaro.
I got the Bills taking Geno Smith. This is the time for Geno Smith to go. They don't have a quarterback. Go with Geno Smith. That's for me with the Bills.
I think that the Bills last year, when they were at their best, were running the football with C.J. Spiller. He had a breakout year, over 1,200 yards rushing. If you're the Bills, you got to get back to the fundamentals, the basics of what got you your 5 or 6 victories a season ago. That's running the football with C.J. Spiller. In order to do that, you need the interior of your line shored up. You lost 2 of your guards in free agency in the offseason, and so you got to replace that production inside. I think you got to go guard here. You lost Levitri. You lost Reinhardt. You got to go guard here. I think Jonathan Cooper is great value at 8. If you're the Bills, you take Jonathan Cooper, guard out of North Carolina. You plug him in. You allow him to open up some holes. He's very athletic, can get to the second and third level to help spring C.J. Spiller and some of those big runs the Buffalo Bills.
Number 9, New York Jets. I have them taking Jarvis Jones. I just think Rich Ryan's just going to fall in love with this guy. I think he's going to fall in love with this guy. Whether or not the Jets really need one, he's going to think that this is the best player available, and he could go here. If Jarvis Jones does not go here, he could fall because there's not a lot of teams after this pick that really need outside linebackers. So if Jarvis Jones cannot be drafted here, expect Jarvis Jones to fall unless if a team is stupid enough to trade up for him.
I think that Jarvis Jones is going here as well, James. And you're right. If he's not drafted here, I don't think he will go until 17 to the Steelers. I think there's no way he gets past the Steelers at 17. I think that's probably the best fit for Jarvis Jones. But, again, I feel like Rex Ryan is going to think that Jarvis Jones is the answer to get pressure on the quarterback. I think that's a good fit for him in New York as well. Jarvis Jones, outside linebacker / defensive end out of Georgia, to the Jets at 9.
See, I would agree with that, but I don't think the Jets are too smart enough to go with that pick. So I have them taking Star Lotulelei because I haven't had Lotulelei drafted, and there's no way that I would think that he would fall to the Carolina Panthers. So I just said, you know what, he has to be top 10. The Jets will take him, and maybe they'll pray to God Jarvis Jones falls off, but he won't get past the Steelers, like you guys said.
Number 10, Tennessee Titans. I have them taking Jonathan Cooper here. Yes, they did get Andy Levitre, but tell me, who is that right guard right now? Rob Turner? That's not good enough. They want to run the football with Chris Johnson and Sean Green. They're going to need a right guard who can do that, and they currently do not. So they're going to draft Jonathan Cooper here in my mock draft.
The Tennessee Titans are so disappointed here at 10. Wow, 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 wow. Because they wanted a guard. Just like James said, they wanted the guard. They were being greedy. They got one in free agency. They wanted another one. They want Chris Johnson to be able to get back to that 2,000-yard back. They got Sean Green to complement him. They want to run the football. And that's the best way to protect Jake Locker as well. But at 10, the two guards that are worth drafting at 10 are off the board. Titans go to the next best thing. Defensive end, they're looking for a guy that can get them double-digit sacks. They currently don't have that guy on their roster. Think Ezekiel Ziggy Ansah, defensive end out of BYU, as the alternative to a guard at 10 for the Tennessee Titans.
I have the Tennessee Titans taking D. Milliner out of Alabama here. Obviously, the Titans' secondary is not the strongest. D. Milliner is really, really a great prospect. He's open to play for any team. He doesn't really care about his draft position. He just says he wants to play in the league. As said on ESPN's First Take, he was very happy, just getting a chance to play in the NFL. I think that's a great attitude. There's going to be a lot of teams. Like, he doesn't care where he gets drafted. He just wants to play in the NFL. And I think at number 10, if you can get a player like D. Milliner, who's a projected top 5, that's the best player available on the board, take him.
Number 11. Now, if you remember, I had the Cleveland Browns starting with the San Diego Chargers here, and because of that, the Cleveland Browns are now here. And they're going to be fine with taking Xavier Rhodes, cornerback, Florida State. And, I like the fit here. They want someone else that can be in that secondary. Joe Hayden is pretty much doing a lot of the work. They have some other pieces there, but they like to get another cornerback in there, and I think Xavier Rhodes will fill that need.
Chase, your guys. Go ahead, Chase. Take it away.
For me, the Cleveland Browns, like I said, they were going for Xavier Rhodes. But this is the Cleveland Browns here. They like to do shifty things. And I feel they want to piss off the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I have them taking Jarvis Jones. Yes, they got Paul Kruger in this offseason. But then again, we haven't seen Paul Kruger play 16 games. But imagine if you have Paul Kruger and Jarvis Jones on the same end. That's a deadly pass rushing combination. And I really do feel Jarvis Jones is a perfect fit for the Browns. The Browns are under a new regime. The Browns need a guy like Jarvis Jones who is athletic enough to cover tight ends. Jarvis Jones is very athletic. He can cover tight ends in the NFL. It's not like he's unathletic. The guy just doesn't weightlift enough. That's his only problem. But other than not weightlifting, he's a great athlete. And I feel Cleveland, even though they would take Xavier Rhodes here, I would like to think they would like to think, let's go with Jarvis Jones. The new management may surprise us here with Jarvis Jones.
San Diego Chargers, they wanted a tackle. They need a tackle. They weren't able to secure a tackle. So they're at 11, and they get a great consolation prize. Who knew when this whole process started that DeMarcus D. Milner, the corner out of Alabama, would be sitting there, the first corner taken off the board at 11. Who knew the Chargers would get that opportunity to take a guy that should be taken in the top 5, but is sitting there at 11? The Chargers are lamenting over not getting the tackle, but they get one heck of a consolation prize in DeMarcus D. Milner, the corner out of Alabama. Chargers take him at 11.
Number 12, if you remember, I had the Miami Dolphins trading with the Oakland Raiders. So the Oakland Raiders are here. And I haven't said these words yet. And it surprised me, but astonishingly, Sharif Floyd is still on the board. And the Oakland Raiders got what they could have gotten at number 3. They get him at 12. I have him going here.
Unbelievable.
I would be surprised in real life.
Unbelievable if that were
Detroit. If the Detroit Lions had Sharif Floyd still available, they would Ndamukong Suh, Sharif Floyd, Nick Fairley, like that. That's just nasty. That's too far of a drop. But for Miami, for me personally, it's hard because they do need a tackle. But do you reach for DJ Fluker here? I don't think that's the right choice. I say they go with Xavier Rhodes. I really do feel they need a boost in the secondary. I mean, heck, they got draft picks. They could trade down, but I really do feel they're going for Xavier Rhodes here at number 12 for me.
Well, if you remember and recall, I had the Cleveland Browns trading this pick to the Miami Dolphins. So the Browns are at 12 in place of the Dolphins. And, it's Geno. Time for Geno Smith to come off the board here with the Browns. New management, you got Michael Lombardi in as your GM, new head coach, Rob Chudzinski. Look, they don't believe in the quarterback that is on their team right now. And, I'm a Brandon Weeden guy. I think they need to give him an opportunity. But I don't think they're Brandon Weeden believers in Cleveland right now. And so Geno Smith is sitting right there for the taking. I think the Browns realize, hey, we've collected a second-round pick. We can address another need then. Let's take a quarterback here. Why not take the best one in the draft? He's available. They go Geno Smith at 12 to the Cleveland Browns, quarterback out of West Virginia.
Big trade happening in my mock draft, number 13. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers trade their 13th pick for Darrelle Revis. So, the Jets have the 13th pick now. Rex Ryan is going to add another defensive asset to his defense in Ezekiel Ziggy Ansah from BYU. And I think he's going to transform him into a great pass rusher, something he wasn't really able to do with Quentin Coples last year.
For me, I also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trading down because I've heard a lot of talk. Tampa Bay is looking at a tight end right now. They want Tyler Eifert out of Notre Dame. They want him. But really, no one else is looking at a tight end at their picks. But there is a team that's looking at a certain Tavon Austin, was hoping that this guy wouldn't get too much hype, but since he has, they're going to have to trade up for him, and that's the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are going to trade up with Tampa Bay and take Tavon Austin with the 13th overall pick. The Bears probably don't want to do this. They don't want to probably trade up so far to get someone like Tavon Austin, but they need a second wide receiver. They need a number 2 option. You have a great number 1 in Brandon Marshall. You signed Martellus Bennett. You know, Martellus Bennett is a very, very good tight end prospect that could possibly grow into someone great. So the Bears have that, but they also need another number 2 target, and who better than Tavon Austin, especially since the Bears play against Randall Cobb and Percy Harvin many years, Randall Cobb for 2 years and Percy Harvin for like 4 years, back-to-back, 2 games a year. They know what kind of player that brings. Devin Hester sucks in the return game now. His hype is over. Get someone new, bring in Tavon Austin. I really do feel that the Bears will trade up with Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay will have no problem because they're going after a tight end. So I have the Bears taking Tavon Austin here.
Jets trade into this pick with Tampa Bay, they get Darrelle Revis, do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in exchange for a first and third round pick. The first pick goes to the Jets, who are now at 13. And with that pick, they got to get some help from Mark Sanchez. Even though I could see Rex Ryan getting defensive crazy and happy here, taking another defender, you got to help Mark Sanchez out. When Santonio Holmes went down last year and the injuries started to mount, who is he throwing the football to? Jeremy Curley? Stephen Hill? I mean, it was a smorgasbord of who's who at the receiver position. They got to get Mark Sanchez. Look, Sanchez stinks, but it's not any help to him that the receiving core around him isn't much better. They got to get him some help. Corindell Patterson, receiver out of Tennessee, comes off the board at 13 to the New York Jets. There you have it.
Number 14, I have the Carolina Panthers, and I haven't said this name. I just have a bad feeling about these defensive tackles, but Star Lotulelei out of Utah, I just think, I think a lot of teams have him, and let me explain.
Wow.
Hold on. Okay, now let me explain. First of all, I think a lot of teams, I've heard that a lot of teams have him as their third-ranked defensive tackle behind Sharrett Floyd and Sheldon Richardson. Now, I don't think the Panthers are going to go that crazy. I think his health conditions are going to scare some teams away, and they're not going to want to take him. But the Carolina Panthers, they didn't take that defensive tackle last year. They're going to take it this year, Star Lotulelei.
For me, I got the Carolina Panthers taking Sheldon Richardson. I already have Star Lotulelei taken. I feel that Sheldon Richardson is the best fit here.
I got the Panthers taking Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle out of Missouri here. Look, I've got intel on this one that the Panthers' new GM, Dave Gettleman, is a old school GM, one that likes to build within and work his way out. So you start with the defensive and offensive line and work your way out. They have DeJuan Edwards down there at defensive tackle. They would love to have someone beside him. Sheldon Richardson might be the best defensive tackle in this draft. If Star Lotulelei is 1A, Sheldon Richardson would be 1B. The Panthers take Sheldon Richardson here. Even though Panthers fans are screaming, take the receiver, take the receiver, Dave Gettleman wants a defensive lineman here. He's going to take Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle out of Missouri.
Number 15, New Orleans Saints. I have Bjorn Werner falling down here. I think you guys do as well. I mean, this guy, I thought he was going to go probably about number 2, if you ask me, in January. But, I mean, this guy's dropped. He did not have a good combine. And teams are really, really concerned about that. I never understood why. I do think this is going to be a great pick for the Saints, though. I have Bjorn Werner going here.
For me, I actually have someone different. 3-4 defense. I think of 3-4. I think of LSU. I think of Barkevious Mingo, and I think it's a perfect fit. I mean, Barkevious Mingo is a great 3-4 outside linebacker defensive end. I think he's just going to be, prototypical Aldon Smith. You know how Aldon Smith is? I think that's going to be Barkevious Mingo. I really do like Barkevious Mingo here. I think, the Saints are moving to a 3-4 defense. Might as well get someone that is really good in the 3-4 defense out of LSU and Barkevious Mingo.
Hey, Chase, keep your eyes off of my mock, okay, buddy? I have the same thing here. Saints at 15, switching from the 3-4, from the 4-3 to the 3-4. You need a guy that can get to the quarterback. They went out and got a guy from the Cowboys. Rob Ryan, the new defensive coordinator coming over from Dallas, decided to snatch off one of the Cowboys rushers. You need a guy opposite of Victor Butler, who they brought in. I think that Barkevious Kiki Mingo from LSU, defensive end / outside linebacker, is the way to go here. If you're the Saints, you got to sweep this guy up, put him on your roster, and allow him to get after the quarterback.
Yeah, because it will make more sense to me. Like, Mingo just seems perfect.
Oh, God. Next to Ziggy when it comes to nicknames. All right, next one. We have 16 St. Louis Rams. We have Tavon Austin for me going here. First wide receiver taken off the board in my mock draft. The Rams will love this pick. Sam Bradford just doesn't have weapons. And I'm telling you, Jeff Fisher is setting this up. I'm telling you, man. You guys know I don't like Jeff Fisher, and I believe he's already setting up Sam Bradford to fail. That way he can get rid of him whenever his contract runs up, and he can draft his guy. I don't think he really believes that Sam Bradford is his guy. I mean, hell, if he was smart, he would have taken Robert Griffin III last year. But ultimately, I see Tavon Austin going here, giving Sam Bradford at least one weapon. If he does not, I really have to question Jeff Fisher's motives, to be honest.
For me, I have the Rams taking Cordell Patterson here, mainly because I feel that they just do need someone different. They just need someone different, like at the wide receiver position. No more Danny Amendola. They just need a wide receiver, in all honesty. So I got them taking Cordell Patterson. He needs to target Sam Bradford. Even though I don't think Cordell is a number one wide receiver, hey, it's worth a draft pick at this position. Sure, why not? Go for Cordell.
I see the Rams taking a receiver just like you two do, but I side with James on this one. I got them taking Tavon Austin here, receiver out of West Virginia. Look, you said it yourself, Chase. They got to replace Danny Amendola. What better way to do it than getting another slot guy like Tavon Austin? Very shifty, that can come in, make some things happen, gives you extra value in the returns game. They already have Chris Givens. They have Brian Quick. I don't think they're sold on Brian Quick. This is why they're taking a receiver here. And also Austin Pettis. So they have targets out there. They need a guy in the slot. None of those guys are slot receivers. None of those guys are shifty enough to work the slots the way Tavon Austin will. I think this is a huge pick, a great pick. Honestly, I think Tavon Austin is the best value in this draft. He's the most explosive athlete in this draft. Rams take Tavon Austin, wide receiver out of West Virginia.
See, I would have Tavon Austin going here. I would. But the only problem is I already had him taken by Chicago.
All right, well, next one, we have Pittsburgh Steelers. And I have them going wide receiver. I have them going Cordell Patterson. This guy, I mean, I'm a Tennessee ball fan. I'm not in love with this guy, but I think they will be. They lost Mike Wallace to free agency. We all know that. They have Antonio Brown, who can be a number one receiver. Okay. But I'm not that big on Emmanuel Sanders. They just brought him in on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. I think they want another wideout, and I think they're going to get it in Cordell Patterson.
If he were there, I would totally agree with you, James. But on my mock draft, those two receivers are gone. There is plenty of value at receiver in this draft. You do not have to take one here at 17 if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Instead, they opt to go the route of corner. Their cornerback position is hurting right now. They lost one of their best, if not their best, corner in free agency in Keenan Lewis to the New Orleans Saints in the offseason. They have to replace him at the cornerback position. Sure, they went out and got Gabe back from the Arizona Cardinals, but he is not the answer at the cornerback position. I think that the Steelers take Xavier Rhodes, cornerback out of Florida State, here at 17. He's a big physical corner. He fits the mold of a Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback. I think he is the best value for the Steelers at 17. Xavier Rhodes, cornerback out of Florida State.
For me personally, I feel the Steelers are always that team that says, you know, there's this one guy in the draft. No one's looking at him. He has off-the-field issues, but we don't care. So they're going to take DeMontre Moore here. The Steelers are going to be like, all right, the first best pass rusher was taken in this draft.
Wow.
They took away Jarvis Jones. Give us DeMontre Moore. And I think they will work well with DeMontre Moore. I mean, DeMontre Moore has a great motor. He just has character issues. And you know what? The Steelers are used to that. They have their star quarterback raping women. I think they're fine on the whole character issue type of deal. I'm pretty sure they can handle characters on the Steelers offense. I do like Xavier Rhodes here, but I just feel that they're going to take, what's his name?
DeMontre Moore.
DeMontre Moore here.
That would be a hell of a pick right there. So number 18, I have the Dallas Cowboys finally going offensive tackle. We've been waiting for this for years, for them to finally devote, to finally go after offensive linemen to help protect Tony Romo. They just gave him this 6-year, $108 million contract. And if you listen to previous podcasts, I don't agree with this.
But if you're gonna do it, at least give him a damn offensive lineman. I'm going with DJ Fluker out of Alabama.
All right, Dallas Cowboys at 18. Look, what's been one of the biggest positions of need for this Cowboys team for about a decade now, since Darren Woodson retired. The safety position, they keep interchanging these guys. Who are you going to try out there? Barry Church and Matt Johnson? Who and who? Church is going to Johnson? Johnson going to Church? What? Look, the Cowboys need a safety. It's simple. There haven't been any taken off the board. You get the pick of the litter at the safety position. You got one that played right in your backyard at the University of Texas in Kenny Vaccaro. He's the best safety in this draft. It's a no-brainer. Cowboys at 18 take Kenny Vaccaro, the safety out of Texas. He can do it all. He's not afraid to hit. And we saw him cover Tavon Austin in the slot last year, so we know he can run. It's a no-brainer for me. Kenny Vaccaro, safety out of Texas, goes to the Cowboys at 18.
Now, I'm not 100% sure because, we've been doing this mock draft. I'm not sure if I said Cooper got taken yet. But if I did earlier, my mistake. I'm 100% just messing up here. But number 8.
I don't think you gave him up yet.
I'm giving the Cowboys Jonathan Cooper. This guy can play center. This guy can play guard. You have DeMarco Murray who needs help. You have Tony Romo who needs help. And Tony Romo and DeMarco Murray, they're guys who like to, DeMarco Murray obviously is a running back. But Tony Romo is that guy where he likes to run around the pocket. With Jonathan Cooper, Tony Romo can do that. Jonathan Cooper is very athletic. Very, very, very athletic. He won't botch snaps. The center position for the Cowboys is just as bad. So, really, to be honest here, even though they would like a tackle, there is still some tackles, left in the second or third round for the Cowboys. I have the Cowboys taking Jonathan Cooper.
All right, James, let me handle this one. Number 19, the New York Giants. I call myself an NFC East aficionado, so I'll take this one.
Okay.
Look, Giants at 19. What do the Giants always take in the first round? Even when they don't need them. A defensive end is like, it's in the handbook. If you turn to page 31, Article 1, Section B, it says Giants take a defensive end in the first round. You lose Osi Umenyiora, you need to replace him. It makes sense, right? Wrong. The Giants needed a linebacker in the worst way. They let go of Michael Boley in the offseason. They lost Chase Blackburn in free agency. You don't have any starting linebackers. You re-signed Keith Rivers for what? You signed Dan Connor for what? For depth, not to start on your football team. You need a linebacker, the best linebacker here for the Giants to take. And this is killing the Bears at 20 because they thought they were going to get him. Alec Ogletree, the linebacker out of Georgia. You can put this guy inside at middle linebacker. You can put him at the will linebacker outside. I think the best position for him is at that will position because you need to keep him clean. He's an ex-safety. He really doesn't want to mix around with those big nasties down there. Keep him clean. Allow him to check the other team's tight end. This is a perfect match for the Giants. They need it in the worst way. Alec Ogletree, linebacker out of Georgia, to the Giants at 19.
I would almost agree with that, but the thing is, tight ends in the SEC always suck. So I'm not 100%, but in the Big Ten, there is some good tight ends. And I actually got a linebacker as well, Arthur Brown out of Kansas State.
Whoa, okay.
Very highly. Everyone's loving this Arthur Brown experiment. I've been watching a lot of Arthur Brown lately, and I'm kind of like one of those GMs where it's just like, this is the Giants here. They always take a big risk in the first round of the draft. They want always to find like the next big prospect. They did it with JPP, and look at what happened there. I feel Arthur Brown is going to be that type of guy, very athletic, a guy that they really feel can provide so much good work for them. And I really do feel Arthur Brown is going to be taken here. Alec Ogletree, I just feel, just kind of, he's a great middle linebacker, but I feel a lot of other teams are going to waste a pick on him. And I really feel that the Giants love to always take prospects that have great upside to them. the Giants are one of those organizations where it's like, yeah, we like people who have proven themselves in big-time college conferences, but we also do like the people that, come from a school not as big as an Alabama on defense or a LSU or a Georgia, SEC-type, Florida-type schools. We like guys that, played in, sort of small-type schools, and they do good there. I feel Arthur Brown's going to be taken here.
That's different, Chase.
Well, Lou kind of stole my thunder, but it's okay. I'll still go last. Before you say what you're going to say, you're not going to steal my thunder again. You said it yourself, Lou. It is written in the holy book that the New York Giants will take a defensive end, okay? I mean, these guys have been doing it for years. Why would they stop now? I mean, sure, they need a linebacker, but I don't think they're smart enough to get one. So, I still have him here. Defensive end, Barkevious Mingo, Kiki Mingo, going to the New York Giants. Now you can go.
So we move on to 20 with the Chicago Bears. And look, they are steaming right now like Willie Beeman because the Giants took their man. They wanted the linebacker Alec Ogletree out of Georgia, and they've made no bones about it. Okay, he's gone now. So now you have to go to your backup plan. Plan B. What's your contingency plan? Well, you didn't take him, so we'll take him. Bjorn Warner, defensive end, out of Florida State. Giants didn't take him. Bears said, well, you didn't. I will. Bears take him. He's in there. He gets to learn from one of the best in Julius Peppers. And, yeah, sure, they took Shea McClellan a year ago, but you can never have too many pass rushers. Hey, just ask the Giants.
For me, I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trade down here, and the reason why is because they're looking at a tight end. Obviously, I'm going to stick with Tyler Eifert going to Notre Dame here. They feel, okay, this is a good pick to take him. No one else was going to take him. There's still teams, in these 20 through, 32 ranges. There's going to be a team from the 26 to 32 range that will trade down and take Tyler Eifert in the first round. There is going to be that team. They know that. They're saying, you know what, screw it. We're taking Tyler Eifert now, and that's my pick there.
I have the Chicago Bears taking Alec Ogletree. They get their guy. Lou, you had him going at 19. I think the Bears are going to get their guy in Alec Ogletree.
All right. So we move on to the Cincinnati Bengals at pick 21. And look, this pick is so unnecessary if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, if you were able to reach a deal with Andre Smith. But they're not able to reach a deal with Andre Smith, and thus they have to take a tackle here. And so you take the fourth best tackle in this draft, which is perfect value in DJ Fluker, the tackle out of Alabama. He's a mauler. He's a big physical tackle, much in the mold of a Andre Smith. They plug him in at right tackle. They get their man at 21.
For me, 21, Bengals. Ray Maluga sucks. Bring in Alec Ogletree. Ray Maluga doesn't suck, but he's terrible as a strong side linebacker. Put him on the weak side. Have Alec Ogletree try to be the strong side backer. I don't know what the Bengals are doing. I mean, maybe they'll sign Alec Ogletree to like the biggest rookie contract. I mean, they have all this money and they can't reach a deal with Andre Smith. That's ridiculous to me. James?
Cincinnati Bengals, I have inside linebacker Arthur Brown, Kansas State going here. They need help in that linebacker core to me. Ray Maluga, I don't know why they bothered to re-sign him. And they're stupid enough to not get free agency. I mean, if they needed a wide receiver to me. That they didn't get one there. They're not going to get one here then. Arthur Brown, let's keep rebuilding through the draft. We'll see how that works.
All right, James. The St. Louis Rams are at 22. This is their second pick in the first round. Who do you have them taking?
Oh, God, I may butcher this name up, but I have Jonathan Cyprien out of Florida International. How did I do on that name?
That is excellent.
Yeah, okay. So Cyprien, I just think they need a safety. Unfortunately, Kenny Vaccaro will not be here at this spot, so they're going to have to go with Jonathan Cyprien. which isn't that bad. They'll be just fine, and he'll help out that secondary.
Chase, what you got?
I have Kenny Vaccaro taking it because I haven't had Vaccaro taken off the board yet. Nothing against Vaccaro. I think he's really good. I just don't think a lot of teams are like, oh, we need a safety this bad. Kenny Vaccaro for the Rams here, very, very good player. He already solidified I'm the number one safety in this draft, but, he's not like a top 5, top 15 pick to me. And I feel the Rams look out here. They get a wide receiver. They get their safety. Great 2 rounds for the Rams. Great beginning draft for the Rams.
Look, this is the perfect opportunity for Jeff Fisher to take a running back. We've seen him do it in the past. He did it with Chris Johnson. He did it with Eddie George. He loves to take a back here in the draft. Right now, it would make perfectly good sense to take Eddie Lacy, except I don't think there's a back worth taking in the first round. I don't think Eddie Lacy is worth taking in the first round. So, as you guys have both said, I think the Rams need to go safety. That's a glaring need for them. And look, Kenny Vaccaro is gone, so now it's between 3 safeties. It's either Matt Elam from Florida, Jonathan Cyprien out of Florida International, or it's going to be Eric Reed out of LSU. Which one grades out higher? Which one's at the top of your board? I think for the Rams, it's Eric Reed, the safety out of LSU. I think he grades out higher than Jonathan Cyprien or Matt Elam, and I think they take Eric Reed here at 22. Chase, we're at 23. We're at the Minnesota Vikings. They've got 2 first-rounders. This is the first of their 2 first-rounders. Chase, what do you have?
For number 23, I was kind of thinking, who can the Vikings take? Like, they probably want someone at this position, but then they have the Colts at 24, and the Colts are obviously looking for a pass rusher to replace Dwight Freeney. And then I was thinking, the Colts, the Vikings did lose a cornerback. I haven't had him taken off the board just yet. Xavier Rhodes goes to the Vikings at 23. Look, they need a cornerback in this position. I don't think he's going to fall this far into the draft, but for my mock, this is where he's going. If anything other than Xavier Rhodes, it's Sylvester Williams, and might as well just say he's going 25 for me. I have Vikings taking Sylvester Williams and Xavier Rhodes in this position.
Talk to me, James. What do you got?
Well, the Vikings, this is the most ridiculous story I've ever heard in my entire life. I mean, these guys are moving Joe Webb to wide receiver. We'll see how that goes. I mean, these guys need a wide receiver. I understand they got Greg Jennings. I don't trust this guy. So I have them taking Keenan Allen out of California. He'll be the 3rd wide receiver taken. I think he is the 3rd best wide receiver, and they'll get some good value here.
I agree that the Vikings need receiver help, but you got 2 picks. No need for the receiver to go here. You got to take value. The Colts are sitting right behind you. You need a linebacker. You lose Jasper Brinkley in free agency to the Arizona Cardinals, so that's a void on your football team. The Colts could use inside linebacker help, so Manti Te'o is sitting there. He had a fabulous pro day after bombing at the Combine. I think this is where Manti Te'o, linebacker out of Notre Dame, comes off the board at 23 for the Minnesota Vikings. Fills a void, and it's a solid pick for the Vikings. Their first of 2 first-round selections. We move to 24, and the Indianapolis Colts. James, talk to me. What do you have the Colts taking at 24?
Indianapolis Colts. This name has been going around a lot, so I might as well just jump in. Defensive end, Datone Jones, or Datani, whatever the hell he pronounces this. They want a pass rusher. Dwight Freeney may not come back. Even if he does, he's old as balls. They need another pass rusher in there. They're going to get it in Jones.
Well, Datone Jones, what can I say about this guy? Very great player. In fact, Datone Jones is someone that a couple of my friends have actually played against in high school, and they're kind of excited to see where this kid goes. But Datone Jones, for me personally, I really do feel that they're going to pick him here. Very similar to Dwight Freeney, very similar to, Robert Mathis. And the thing is, when the Colts changed to a 3-4, it was kind of like, why? I mean, Robert Mathis is not really a cover linebacker. I mean, he's just a pass rusher, same with Dwight Freeney. But Datone Jones now fits this 3-4. Datone Jones is a perfect opportunity in this 3-4 defense, and I feel that he's going to go here.
It's a clean sweep again, fellas. Dayton Jones. Man, does that name sound tough or what? Dayton Jones. Sounds tough. He looks tough. He is tough. Defensive end out of UCLA, going to the Colts. He fits the 3-4 defense like a glove. He's a 5 technique defensive end, and I think the Colts need a 5 technique to fit in this 3-4 defense. This is a fabulous pick for the Colts. Dayton Jones. I'm shaking in my boots. Going to the Colts at 24 out of UCLA, defensive end. So you go to 25, the second of the first-round selections for the Minnesota Vikings. Chase, talk to me.
Like I said, I already have Sylvester Williams going here because I knew the Colts would not take a defensive tackle, nor did they need one. I was just saying, you know what, the Vikings could get, their quarterback that they're missing and the defensive tackle that they're sort of missing. They need depth on that area. Sylvester Williams, highly underrated, in my personal opinion, going to be a great pickup for them. I feel like they could get Manti Te'o at any time in this draft. And really, to be honest, I feel Sylvester Williams is the perfect pick here.
What do we got, James?
This name is, this name. But, I mean, he's whining and dining with the Vikings GMs. He's sitting down. He's talking to him. And I'm finally sold. Notre Dame inside linebacker Manti Te'o going to the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, sir, the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, I like their situation at defensive tackle. They have Kevin Williams in there, and he's been a monster force in there for a while. I mean, they could go corner. They lost Antoine Winfield. They like Chris Cook. They like A.J. Jefferson. They like Josh Robinson. So I don't think they're going to go there. I think that they're going to go Manti Te'o, have him replace Jasper Brinkley, and see how that goes. Manti Te'o.
At 25, you alluded to it just a pick before that they need a receiver. I trust their receiving, or I trust Greg Jennings a lot more than you do, but they do need another receiver. They needed 2 to start this thing out. They got Greg Jennings. If my math is correct, 1 + 1 = 2. They got 1. They need another. You already alluded to Keenan Allen, the receiver out of Cal, going to the Vikings. I agree with you. We just had our picks swap. I had them taking Manti Te'o first, and then Keenan Allen. You had them taking Keenan Allen first, and then Manti Te'o. 25, Keenan Allen, receiver, Cal. That's the Vikings pick at 25. You look at 26, the Green Bay Packers. Man, they have an abundance of riches at 26. So, James, why don't you tell us who you have them taking at 26?
Well, the third defensive tackle, Sheldon Richardson. I mean, the Green Bay Packers, they don't have a big need, like, wow, they really need this thing. I just think they're going to take the best player available, and I think the best player available here will be Sheldon Richardson out of Missouri, who was amazingly still on the board.
For me personally, the Packers, like James said, they don't really need anything here. I really do feel that they're going to make a deal with NFC North rivals Detroit Lions. Yes, the Detroit Lions are going to be begging for a trade up here, and here's the reason why. Detroit Lions trade up, and they take their man out of Clemson, DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, what can I say? Very, very good. Very, very good wide receiver. They need someone like DeAndre Hopkins to complement a Megatron. DeAndre Hopkins is being compared to by Roddy White. A lot of people are saying DeAndre Hopkins is Roddy White 2.0. And hell, when you're being compared to a great receiver like Roddy White, and you have a team with like a Reggie Bush, a Matthew Stafford, and a Calvin Johnson, I think that the Green Bay Packers know, hey, Detroit's just picking at number 36. We can pick up anyone there at number 36. Detroit really wants this pick bad. They're going to give us maybe a 4th round, maybe a 2nd round pick next year. Let's go with it. Let's go with Detroit's offer and give them DeAndre Hopkins.
The Green Bay Packers are a team that is stacked and loaded every single year, but they do have some needs on this team, especially when you look at that.
Also, what I want to say about the Packers is the offensive linemen. They can pick up a good offensive guard or offensive tackle in the 2nd round instead of reaching for the 1st round.
Exactly. They do need offensive line help, do the Packers, but that's not the value here at 26. there's not a guy that they can take that's left on the board that makes sense at 26. So then you look at another need of the Packers. You lose Charles Woodson in free agency, or you allow him to walk away, and you need to replace him on your football team. You need a safety. So you look into the draft and you say, okay, well, what's left? You've got 2 safeties left of the 4 that can go in the first round. Kenny Vaccaro is off the board. You also look at Eric Reed being off the board. So you're left with Jonathan Cyprien and Matt Elam. Which one is to your liking? I think the Packers go with the hard-hitting Matt Elam out of Florida here to fill a void at safety. He's a guy that can give them some toughness in that secondary. They've lacked that toughness since a guy like Atari Bigby left that secondary. And so look for the Packers to draft safety Matt Elam out of Florida with their 26th overall selection. You look at the Houston Texans at 27. They need to get over the hump. Give me the player that can get them over the hump or help them get over the hump, Chase.
Yep. Oh, the Texans? Well, there is only one player. They need another wide receiver. DeAndre Hopkins was taken, but they weren't really interested in DeAndre Hopkins in the first place. But they are interested in Justin Hunter. Justin Hunter, I feel, is better than Cordell Patterson. I felt that he just had a bad year of Tennessee because of injuries. And not to mention he was getting hit a lot. I mean, this guy was getting hit almost every single play. Justin Hunter will help the Texans maybe get over the hump. The Texans have more problems than just wide receiver. I mean, they're still a top team in the AFC, but they still have a lot of problems. But Justin Hunter, I feel, will help out Matt Schaub a lot. I feel will take a lot of pressure off of Arian Foster's shoulders and definitely take off the house that is on Andre Johnson's shoulder. Andre Johnson has been a Texan for life. He's pretty much their franchise player. You may argue Arian Foster or J.J. Watt is now, but Andre Johnson is all reliable. This guy has been carrying the Texan house since he was drafted there. This guy is pretty much, have to carry this whole team. And, it's so hard to rely on such a player, especially, so many years of trying to be that number one receiver and just getting hurt every single season. 2 seasons ago, he was hurt unbelievably. This season, he bounced back. But even then, they don't have a number 2 option to throw to. Andre Johnson's pretty much a sitting duck. So he needs someone to help take off that house on his back. They have Justin Hunter here. Good pickup. Even though, DeAndre Hopkins somehow falls here, I say they should go with Hopkins. But I feel Justin Hunter, he's going to be a future number 1 wide receiver, and especially Andre Johnson getting up there in his 30s. They need someone like Justin Hunter here.
James, what do you have?
There's a good chance that I'll be crying at the end of Thursday night, because if Justin Hunter goes to Houston, which I have him going, I'm going to cry. My favorite player on the Volunteers during 2012 goes to the team that I hate the most in the NFL, the Houston Texans. It'll be a great pick. It'll be a fantastic pick to me. He was better than Cordero Patterson at Tennessee. I just think Cordero Patterson is getting much more love because of maybe an athleticism here. You can plug him around the field, but I love me some Justin Hunter. Chase has known this all season. I love me some Justin Hunter, and I will cry if he goes to Houston, because that'll be a great pick for them. And honestly, real quick, the Texans, if they don't get this pick right, if they go wide receiver and it just doesn't go right, they drafted 3 of them last year. You just really have to wonder what they're doing, because they need that wide receiver next to Andre, and they haven't been able to get it for years now. So they better get this pick right.
And I think there's value in this draft at receiver. And so I don't think that necessity can dictate them taking a receiver here. They don't have to take a receiver here if they don't want to. I think that it would be a smart move to take a receiver here. But I think that if you are the Texans, I felt like they were ran on a little bit too much for my liking a season ago. You've been light in the pants for the last 4 or 5 years, allowing Sean Cody to man up the middle of your 3-4 defense. That should be illegal. In fact, I think it's illegal in 47 states to have a defensive tackle at the nose. Frankly, I thought it was too small to get it done at the nose. They have to find a replacement there. They could use a right tackle as well. They could take a guy like Menelik Watson out of Florida State here. But I think the value for them here is at defensive tackle with the defensive tackle out of North Carolina, Sylvester Williams. Put him next to J.J. Watt. Allow J.J. Watt to create even more havoc on the defensive side of the football and shore up that run defense. I thought at the end of the year when they had a chance to nail down home field throughout, they needed to beat the Minnesota Vikings. The one thing they needed to do was stop Adrian Peterson. They could not do it. They did not have enough beef up front. Sylvester Williams will help them solve that problem. They can get a receiver in the second round. Take Sylvester Williams, defensive tackle out of North Carolina. That's the value at 27. You look at 28, the Denver Broncos are on the clock. James, they had this thing wrapped up last year, found a way to blow it. They had some struggles in the offseason with Elvis Dumervil. Who do you have them taking at 28?
I have him taking who I believe will be the biggest bust in this draft. Defensive end DeMontre Moore. I hate this guy. I mean, there's not much to like about this guy. I mean, this guy, I really just, man, this guy hasn't even come into the league yet, and I really do not like this guy, man. He's the biggest risk out there. He's gonna fall all the way down here. The Denver Broncos, oh God, they're gonna make a. I hate this guy. I hate this guy.
Chase, how do you follow that up? How do you follow that?
Okay, once again, with this draft, I'm getting confused here if I said this guy has getting taken yet or not. But the Broncos, I feel, because I don't think I said Bajorn Werner yet. So I want them to take Bajorn Werner here. I feel that would be perfect for them. But if not, if I already did say Bajorn Werner, I'm also going with his former teammate, Tank Carradine. I feel like one of those two defensive ends are going to be taken. They need another defensive end. Help Von Miller out a little bit, on the opposite side, because that's how the Broncos like to run. I don't disagree with that. It's a successful formula. You lose someone like that, you need some help over there. So you know what? I like it. Either Tank Carradine or Bajorn Werner. I think I did say Bajorn Werner for another team, but I'm not 100% sure.
Look, they botched that whole Elvis Dumervil situation. That was a debacle in the offseason. He should still be a Denver Bronco. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that guy is ultra productive. You don't just land on 10.5 sacks in this league. He's a double-digit sack getter. They blew that situation. Now they have to replace that production across from Von Miller. Chase, you just said it yourself. They need a defensive end. James, you said it as well. They need a defensive end. I agree wholeheartedly. They take the defensive end out of Florida State here. Cornelius Tank Carradine out of Florida State. Had he not tore his ACL, I think this guy would have ascended to a different stratosphere. I think this is the guy that you need to take at 28 if you are the Denver Broncos to try and replace Elvis Dumervil. It's going to be big shoes to fill, but look, they don't call him Tank for nothing. This guy is huge. He's solidly built. I think he's going to be a great addition to the Denver Broncos. You look at 29 in the New England Patriots. Who likes the Patriots? Does anybody like the Patriots?
No.
Exactly. Chase, who do they take at 29?
Well, this is the Patriots here. They like to play the draft game. They like trading down and stuff, and I really do feel they're going to trade with the Buffalo Bills here. And I know it's going to be like the Buffalo Bills, but the thing was, I was thinking, the Bills are looking to revamp their offense. They're missing something to help C.J. Spiller out. And I think, we need a running back have to be taken in the first round. And he's going to join teammates Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson. 3 years in a row in Alabama, running back will be taken in the first round. Eddie Lacy is going to the Buffalo Bills.
Wow.
The Bills need another running back.
Wow.
Fred Jackson is injury prone as of late. Eddie Lacy is almost a bigger C.J. Spiller, can catch the football and run down the field. You know what? I really do feel the Bills will trade up to get Eddie Lacy. I mean, they're just going to sacrifice probably their second-round pick and maybe a sixth-round pick to the Patriots. They won't have to sacrifice too much. And really, to be honest, Eddie Lacy is worth bang for your buck here. They need an option. And, hell, Geno Smith, Eddie Lacy, C.J. Spiller, you're going to be building off your team for something great in the future.
Wow. James, What you got here, man?
Well, Jay said it. The New England Patriots do not like to trade up. I mean, do not like to draft players. I mean, so they will trade this pick. Last year was an anomaly. This year, they're going to trade this pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are worried that the Atlanta Falcons are going to take this man at 30. So they're going to go right above them at 29, and they're going to take tight end Tyler Eifert. You guys alluded to this earlier. They want a tight end. Dallas Clark come on now. They want a tight end. They want to give Josh Freeman more weapons. That way they can finally get back to the playoffs, which what they need to do for years now. So Tampa Bay takes tight end Tyler Eifert.
You know what? That is some really good logic there, James. I think that's a really good possibility of that happening. Mm-hmm. Have not given that a lot of thought, but now that you mentioned
where's
that.
Tampa Bay picking in the second round? Because Buffalo's picking fairly early, and New England has been talking about getting either Marcus Whedon or Jamar Taylor with their pick. So if Tampa Bay is picking in the middle of the second round, I don't know if that could work out. I just chose Buffalo because I knew they would get Jamar Taylor either way with that pick. Well,
I have Desmond Trufant falling, so even if let's say who'd you say might take Jamar Taylor?
The Patriots.
The Patriots may take Jamar Taylor, but I think even if Jamar Taylor is taken, maybe Desmond Trufant will be there.
Yeah.
When the Patriots if they take the Bucs' 13th pick in the second round, I think he could be there.
So that's some really good logic, James. But I think the Patriots, if they in fact do draft someone, I like your logic a lot more so than mine. Yours sounds a lot more sound than mine does. I have the Patriots actually making a selection at 29. And to me, this is a Patriot way pick. They go against the grain. Everyone is turning their nose up at DeMontre Moore, the defensive end out of Texas A&M. They think that he's not worthy of a first-round selection. The Patriots swoop in, snag him up. They're going to shine him up. And everyone's going to laugh at this selection. And guess who's going to get the last laugh? The New England Patriots, as they turn, as always, they're going to turn DeMontre Moore into a double-digit sack getter. They take DeMontre Moore, defensive end, out of Texas A&M at 29. So now we get to the Atlanta Falcons, the NFC champion, or I should say the NFC first seed in the NFC, Atlanta Falcons, and they had home field advantage throughout. They found a way to not make it to the Super Bowl. Give me a guy that you think can help them take that next step to get to the Super Bowl, Chase.
See, with Atlanta, they have two needs, but these needs are easily fixed. Okay, yeah, they got OCU Manura, but sorry guys, this is not OCU Manura of 2008. Okay, this is not that OCU Manura. But I really do feel Atlanta might trade down here because they do love Alex Okafor. They might trade down here, but then again, they do need a cornerback. So they either trade down with a certain team that's looking at a Zach Ertz. I don't know which team would be wanting a Zach Ertz really bad. Maybe a Jets. They do trade with the Jets so the Jets can get Zach Ertz. Or they do stay at this pick and get Desmond Trufant. Those are the two possibilities with Atlanta at this pick. Because Desmond Trufant, like James said, he is falling. And that's true. Desmond Trufant is falling off a lot of people's draft boards. Not to mention Alex Okafor. He's very interesting at this pick. There's two players that the Falcons really want out of this draft, and it's Trufant and Okafor. They get those two players, they are going to be with the Seattle Seahawks and 49ers to those teams where those three teams are going to make the Super Bowl no matter what.
James, what do you have?
Well, for Atlanta Falcons, this is a good nickname. I've been critiquing the nicknames, but this is finally a good nickname. Cornelius Tank Carradine. Okay, now that's a nickname I can get into. Falcons need a defensive end. OCU Manura, I don't love this guy. I don't think he can be your premium pass rusher. I just don't believe so. So I believe Tank Carradine can complement him.
I think they're going to need to get 2 defensive ends. They've already got one, OCU Manura, and I think Tank can come in there and be the other one.
I think that the Atlanta Falcons, and look, James, again, I said that your logic at 29 with the Patriots is awesome. So if that were to occur, that would shatter what I have here. But I think at 30, it makes the most sense for the Falcons to draft the replacement of Tony Gonzalez right now. This is the last year for Tony Gonzalez. He said last year he was 95% sure. I knew if they didn't win the Super Bowl that he would not retire. I cannot say the same thing for this season. I think this is it. Even if they don't win it, he's done. He's not coming back again. What better way to groom his replacement than to get him on the roster with Tony Gonzalez, have him learn from the best tight end in NFL history, and have him be ready to fill in that void next season, fill those humongous shoes. The Falcons can't go without a guy in the middle of that offense that can attract some attention. You got to go with the best, and the best in this draft, and probably the best out of the tight end position in the last 5 years, Tyler Eifert out of Notre Dame, the tight end. I think that's the most logical and sound pick for the Falcons at 30. If he is, in fact, available, I think that's the pick the Falcons make at 30. So we go to 31. Now we're at the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers at 31. James, who do you have the 49ers selecting, if you have them selecting at all?
I do have them selecting, and the 49ers are a stacked team. I think we can all agree on that. They are a pretty stacked team. They could go defensive end. I just don't feel it. Maybe defensive tackle. There's nothing that really sits with me here except for safety. So I have them taking Matt Elam out of Florida. I just think that's the only need that really sits with me here. Maybe Zach Ertz out of Stanford, but I'm just going to go Matt Elam.
I'm with James on Matt Elam here. I haven't had Jonathan Cyprien in the first round, mainly because I just feel that, the small school hype is really around him, and a lot of teams are just in love with him. And also, with number 32, spoiler alert, I have a team trading to get him. But I feel Matt Elam's a perfect fit. Hard-hitting safety. Jim Harbaugh likes that. Jim Harbaugh's going to breed him to play better coverage. And also, he's a good run supporter. He's good at stopping the run. He's a great type of cover guy. And once that receiver catches the ball, they have to worry about his footsteps hitting him. So I really do like Matt Elam here.
I think that they do need a safety. I think that is their one glaring need. They lose Deshaun Golson in free agency to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to replace that kind of production on your football team. He was one of the leaders of their football team. And so if any need is on this football team, it is at the safety position. And I think they fill it with the last remaining safety worth taking in the first round in Jonathan Cyprien, the safety out of Florida International University. I think the 49ers take him and they see if they can plug him in. Remember, they did get Craig Dahl in free agency from a divisional foe in the St. Louis Rams. So if Cyprien isn't ready to go right off the bat, they will play Craig Dahl. But if he goes into camp and wins that position, I think Cyprien will be your starter from day one in San Francisco. We find ourselves at the back half of the first round, the last pick. If 31 is the worst pick in the draft because you are the Super Bowl runner-up, then this must be the best pick in the first round, the 32nd pick, to the Baltimore Ravens. Chase, tell me who the champions take or don't at 32.
It's the best pick in the draft because then you have all these second-round teams wanting to move back up. They want that pick so bad, and then you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, we will give you this pick. You will stock up on second-round talent because there's always those guys in the second round that end up better than some of the guys in the first round. And for me personally, this team right here, they're going to be like, drat, we missed out on Matt Elam. Ron Rivera is going to be making some deals with the Baltimore Ravens, and they're going to trade up to the number 32 pick. Baltimore really, yes, they need a wide receiver, but they can find that somewhere in the draft. They can find someone. Robert Woods is still available around there. Sure, Keenan Allen may be gone, but hey, you still got Robert Woods. Torrey Smith is your true number one anyways. They're not really too huge in wide receiver need. The Ravens, a lot of us really feel like the Ravens are like deep trouble. But then again, we haven't seen their backups play yet. We haven't seen the depth play yet. The Ravens still have a lot of depth. This is why we call the Ravens as one of the best draft teams ever, is because they know how to draft. Ozzie Newsome pretty much knows what he's doing in the draft. So I don't think the Ravens are as much trouble as many people like to think they are, just because they've lost a lot of great players, this past offseason. But I really do feel they're going to trade down like always, play the draft game, because that's what Ozzie Newsome does best, is playing the draft game. And I feel Carolina's going to get up and take John Cyprien, because they're going to say, hey, this is going to be a great pickup for us here. Everyone else from 33 to where we're at are savoring at their mouths for John Cyprien. The Bills could probably take him here instead of saying, because they already got their quarterback, I said the Bills would trade. Well, the Dolphins could probably take him here because there's no one else. The Titans might want to boost up their depth because they already got Dave. Tampa Bay might want to boost up their depth. Why not? Why not trade up, get Jonathan Cyprien? And you know what? Since Matt Elam and Kenny Vaccaro are gone, we have to take this risk. We have to go for John Cyprien, and I feel they will trade up to get him.
James, wrap up your first round mock. Who do you have the Ravens taking or not taking?
Well, it is a not for me, and Chase said it perfectly. Second round teams just love to trade up, and I think there's going to be a little battle for Ryan Nassib. There's a lot of teams that are teasing whether or not they want him, do they not want him, and it's none other than Doug Marrone that makes this move with the Baltimore Ravens. He moves up to number 32 and takes his guy, Ryan Nassib. They have Kevin Kolb, yes. They have Tavares Jackson, yes. But that's just not good enough. They're going to take Ryan Nassib, maybe groom him behind Kevin Kolb. I don't think that Kevin Kolb is a long-term option in Buffalo. I think he's going to be more of a bridge quarterback. I don't think Ryan Nassib is going to start this year. I think he's going to sit, pretty much watch Kevin Kolb, and then once Kevin Kolb starts losing games, he'll come in to the rescue.
James just stole my thunder, so I'll just say ditto. And that's the first round mock.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for checking out this first round mock for 2013. We don't know what we're going to do next week. Maybe we're going to do a mock draft simulation if we can get enough people. Hey, if you want to try to contact us over Skype, my Skype is James Carter TV. It'll be in the description box if you want to participate in this. If we can get enough people, we will actually simulate the 2013 NFL Draft. So please talk to us. Contact me. You can contact me over the website. Contact me over Skype, like I said, at James Carter TV. Contact me on Twitter at James Carter TV, okay? Try to contact me. We want to get enough people to do this. We want 8 people, 1 person per division. We already have 3. Hopefully we can get more, and hopefully we can do this next week. That'll be really great for y'all. And make sure after the draft, 10 days from today, after the draft, Thursday, April 25th, after the draft, make sure to come on here, come on to this YouTube channel. We will have our draft recap. It'll probably be long, but you can stay up and watch it anyway with us.
I just want to say for the draft simulation, us 3 already have our teams, so the Titans, the Chargers, and the Redskins are already taken, so you can't take those teams.
Yeah, so hopefully if more people can get involved in that, we can do that. But like I said, BeforeTheSnap.com. Check out our Twitter at BeforeTheSnap, Facebook.com/BeforeTheSnap. And that's it. And also subscribe to this YouTube channel while you're at it. I know it's a lot to do, but it's only going to take you about 10 seconds, so calm down. Before the Snap, keeping you updated with all the football news before the Snap. We'll check y'all later. We're out.